Imagine waking up as a 10-year-old boy, stepping out of your room and finding everyone you know and love gone.
Just gone.
Not just gone, but lying there, having met a violent end. Your mom, your dad, your 3 older brothers.
It's a truly chilling reality to even contemplate.
That's the chilling reality we're starting with today. Hey, welcome, and my name is Erin.
And I am Ashley.
This deep dive takes us to Yukon, Oklahoma on April 22nd, 2024, and, well, right into the heart of the Candy Family Massacre.
Yeah, we've looked at transcripts from a true crime documentary to try and piece together what actually happened.
We want to understand the known facts of this devastating event, you know, the lives of the family before tragedy struck, and obviously the many questions that still linger.
Right. Our aim isn't to sensationalize, definitely not.
Yeah.
It's more about carefully exploring the information we have.
Exactly. Trying to comprehend a truly heartbreaking situation.
So April 22nd, 2024. It starts unbelievably with the 10-year-old boy.
Yeah, he had this faint memory apparently of a fire alarm going off during the night.
But he drifted back to sleep. He had a box fan going.
Which is such a normal thing, right? That familiar hum.
Totally normal. So around 9 a.m., he wakes up properly, and he makes a discovery that, no child should ever face.
His entire family, they were dead.
It's hard to even say the words. That box fan, something meant for comfort.
Yeah.
It unknowingly masked this absolute horror unfolding just down a hall. Can you imagine what went through his mind when he finally woke up to that silence?
I can't. And the timeline gets even more chilling because by 9:30 a.m., that little boy is on the phone to 911.
Telling the dispatcher his entire family was gone.
That call. Just imagine being the person taking that call.
Oh, absolutely. A child's voice delivering news like that. The impact must have been immediate, immense.
Police got to the Candy House. It's near Southwest 29th and Check Hall Road pretty quickly.
And the scene they found? Well, it was starkly described as a massacre.
The victims were identified: 39-year-old Lindsay Candy.
And her 3 sons. 18-year-old Dylan Candy.
14-year-old Ethan Candy.
And 12-year-old Lucas Candy. Just devastating.
And tragically, they also found the suspected killer, 42-year-old Jonathan Candy.
The father. Lindsay's husband.
Yeah, dead from what appeared to be a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
So the immediate conclusion, and it seems to be the one holding, is murder-suicide.
The news just ripped through that Yukon community. You can imagine neighbors saw all the emergency vehicles.
On their quiet street, yeah. Trying to figure out what on earth was happening.
And when the details started coming out, the shock just deepened.
It really did. And the neighbors' reactions, they really highlight how unexpected this was.
They kept saying the Candy seems so normal, right?
Well,
like?
Yeah, one neighbor said something like, you could live 100,000 lifetimes and never expect this. That really says it all.
These are people they saw every day, talked to, no signs, nothing.
No outward signs at all, which makes it even harder to process.
And then you contrast that with this image. There was an interview clip from 2022 on a show called Discovering Oklahoma.
Oh, right, at the bakery.
Yeah. Jonathan and Lindsay just looking like this happy young couple talking about breakfast burritos and carrot cake. So mundane, so normal.
It's jarring, isn't it? That image of them laughing, enjoying something simple. It just highlights the massive void they've left behind.
It really does. It makes you ask, how could things go from that to this?
That's the question.
Okay, so let's try to build a picture of the family, who they were. Jonathan Candy, he was 42.
He worked part-time at the Paycom Center, the big arena there.
Right, and people there remembered him for, bringing energy, making jokes, especially during the Thunder games.
Bringing life to the arena was the quote, I think. He went to Bishop McGinnis Catholic High School.
Yeah. But it's that contrast again, isn't it? The face people see?
Versus what might be happening privately.
Yeah.
Yeah. That cheerful persona at work, it creates this really disturbing dissonance with the violence at home. Makes you wonder how well we really know anyone.
And Lindsay, his wife, she grew up nearby in Prague, Oklahoma.
Remembered for singing in the church choir. Yeah. Always full of laughter. That's what people said.
And by all accounts, their marriage seemed okay. Happy even. Stable.
Definitely no reports of domestic violence. No abuse flagged anywhere. That's a key point.
Their Facebook page, like so many, filled with happy family pictures.
Reinforcing that image, right? The regular happy family.
And Jonathan himself apparently posted things about his family being his entire world.
Which just adds another layer of complexity and confusion. How does someone say that, feel that, and then do this?
It's baffling. And their children, each one had so much ahead of them.
Dylan, the oldest, 18, he sounded like a great kid. Social, really into drumming and music.
Just graduated high school last May, Mustang High, and he was already at Oklahoma Baptist University.
Yeah, in the Bison Brigade band, playing first bass drum, which is apparently a big deal.
His band director, Brian Stackhouse, talked about his talent, his positive attitude.
Said he had this memorable solo moment. They were planning a memorial display, I read, with his drum and uniform.
Oh, that's touching. Such a loss.
The life full of promise, just gone.
Then there was Ethan, 14, a ninth grader at Mustang North Middle School.
Described as really active, athletic, a talented baseball player.
His coach, TJ Armstrong, said he had an inspiring spirit, an infectious smile.
Yeah, the coach mentioned Ethan was best friends with his own son, and what a positive impact Ethan had. It sounds like he was just a really vibrant kid.
They're planning a memorial bench for him at the sports complex.
A fitting tribute.
And Lucas, the youngest of the three who died, only 12, he was at Meadowbrook Intermediate.
Just full of life, apparently.
Yeah.
Active, smart, bright, joyful, loved playing outside, making friends.
It's when you hear about each of them.
It paints this picture of a really happy, thriving family. Which, like we said, just makes the tragedy even harder to grasp. Each child clearly loved, making their mark.
And then there's the youngest son, we're not using his name, obviously, for privacy,
This sole survivor.
waking up to that absolute horror, and it was apparently because he slept with that box fan.
Yeah, that detail about the fan.
Yeah.
It's heartbreakingly ordinary, isn't it?
It is. But it meant he didn't hear anything that happened during the night.
So while it kind of shielded him from the immediate violence, it also meant he woke up to a reality. Just a silence that spoke volumes about the horror that had unfolded. The psychological impact must be just immense.
Which brings us right back to that central, agonizing question, why? Why did this happen?
How does a family that looks so normal, so happy from the outside, end up like this?
It's the question haunting everyone, isn't it? And based on what we know, there's just no clean answer right now.
Not really.
Yeah.
And the fact that there were apparently no signs of a struggle at the scene,
Yeah.
that just adds to the confusion.
What could have happened so quick, so final?
And then there's the question about the youngest son. Why spare him?
Was it a last-minute change of heart? Some kind of final flicker of love? Or something else entirely?
It's incredibly difficult, and honestly, these might be questions we never get answers to. Maybe shouldn't, for his sake.
There was mention of a Dr. Joanne Johnston, a psychologist.
Yes, a clinical and forensic psychologist. Her reported shock is interesting.
Shocked that a parent would murder some children, but not all.
Exactly. She apparently indicated it deviates from some patterns, rare as they are, in these kinds of awful events. It suggests maybe some internal conflict or a specific, though obviously disturbed, reason we just don't understand.
And adding to all this confusion is, well, everyone saying things seemed normal.
Friends, colleagues, everyone. Jonathan was apparently at a Thunder game just hours before this happened.
And like you said, no prior red flags for domestic violence, which is often, tragically, a factor in these cases.
The only hint of anything, is a mention of a possible argument between Jonathan and Lindsay the night before.
But we don't know what it was about, right? How serious it got.
Nothing. It's just this tiny, frustratingly vague piece that doesn't really explain anything.
Investigators are obviously looking into everything: finances, potential hidden mental health issues.
And financial strain, we know, can be a huge stressor. It can lead to depression, distorted thinking, especially perhaps for men feeling that provider burden.
Feeling trapped, maybe.
Possibly. Like there's no way out.
And the stigma around mental health, that's still a huge factor, isn't it? Especially for men.
Definitely. Depression might not look like sadness. It can come out as irritability, anger, signs that are easy to miss or misinterpret.
Until it's too late.
Tragically, yes. When someone doesn't get help, they can reach a point of such despair. Violence can seem like the only option in their distorted view. It's just awful.
This whole thing just highlights how vital open communication is and needing accessible mental health support.
Absolutely. And, you know, if you're interested in how we explore these difficult topics, trying to be sensitive and respectful, please consider subscribing to Dead Quiet Crime Podcast. We try to handle these stories with care.
Yeah, definitely. So going back to the family, before all this, the memories people shared paint such a consistent picture.
Lindsay's childhood friend, Connie Cruz. She talked about them growing up together. Church, choir.
Yeah, she even told a story about them hiding in a treehouse as kids and worrying their parents.
It sounds like she just brought Lindsay to life, you know? Warm, playful, loved, fiercely loved her boys, she said. Brought laughter.
It's such a painful contrast to what happened.
It really is. And the neighbors, too, like Michael Burham, just expressing disbelief. saying they already missed them.
Brian Graham remembered Jonathan being helpful, always willing to lend a hand.
These everyday things, right? They show the positive impact the Candys had, reinforces that sense of loss, and makes it harder to reconcile the Jonathan they knew with this.
Ethan's baseball coach, TJ Armstrong, and his wife Rhonda, they also shared memories.
Yeah, TJ chose to remember Jonathan as a great guy. Appreciative, gave hugs.
And Rhonda said being around the Candys just made her smile, brightened her day. She remembered Lindsay being so enthusiastic at Ethan's games.
Again, just this consistent picture. Kind, sweet, happy family, which is why it's so incredibly hard for the community to process. It just shatters everything.
In the aftermath, though, the community has really stepped up for the surviving son.
He's with extended family now, thankfully, and there's a whole network trying to support him. Social workers, emotional support.
There was a GoFundMe set up pretty quickly, too, to help with his future.
And the response was apparently heartwarming and overwhelming, which is good to hear. It shows how much people cared.
Jonathan's family also put out a statement, expressing their confusion, their devastation, acknowledging all the unanswered questions.
Which mirrors what everyone feels, I think. Just shock and no explanation. They're grieving, too, in a very complicated way.
Authorities have, understandably, used this as a moment to talk about mental health.
Yeah, emphasizing the need to seek help, break the stigma, reminding people that outward appearances aren't always the reality.
Encouraging compassion, connection with loved ones, offering resources for people struggling with the news.
It's a vital message. Mental health struggles can affect anyone. Seeking help, reaching out, it's crucial. Hopefully it can prevent future tragedies like this.
Ultimately, the Candy family, they were loved. They'll be deeply missed. The focus now has to be on supporting that young boy.
Absolutely. The impact on him, on the whole community, it's going to last a long, long time.
So this deep dive has walked us through the truly heartbreaking details of the Candy family tragedy. And we're definitely left with the weight of so many unresolved questions.
So many questions.
As a final thought, maybe just reflect on how important it is to look beyond the surface sometimes, to try and nurture deeper connections with people around us.
Small actions, right? Supporting well-being, encouraging open communication. It matters.
It really does. And if you'd like to explore other complex topics with us, please do subscribe to our YouTube channel for more deep dives.
We appreciate you listening.